What happened?
Wait.
Oye, Juanito, tienes razón.
A ver, tenemos ahí un detalle técnico, ¿verdad, mi hermano?
Sí, no hay liga, para Osos MX, pero espérame tantito, ahorita me voy rápidamente a YouTube, mientras darle la bienvenida a todos, ¿cómo están?
Buenas noches, damas y caballeros, osos y osas, bienvenidos al episodio número 33 de su episodio, de su live show favorito, Haciendo el Oso. Tenemos unos detallitos técnicos por ahí. En Osos MX parece que no se publicó el video, pero ahorita aquí mi hermano Loki se va a encargar de compartir la liga de YouTube a través de Osos MX para que nos puedan comentar. En este caso, amigos de Osos MX, no comenten en Facebook porque si no, no vamos a poder ver los comentarios. Coméntenos directamente en YouTube, por favor. Únicamente en YouTube. Es más, de hecho, de una vez voy a hacer un banner emergente.
Estamos en Davers, ya estamos en vivo.
Menos en Osos MX.
Osos MX, a ver, vamos. Ya voy a poner la liga en estos instantes para que nos vean ahora.
A ver, ahí estamos.
La liga ya está publicada en Osos MX, ya nos pueden ver todos, con normalidad en Osos MX.
Pero coméntenos únicamente en YouTube, los amigos de Osos MX, porque si no, no vamos a poder ver sus comentarios y sus saludos. Pues bueno, vamos a arrancar, mi hermano Loki.
¿Cómo
estamos?
Bienvenidos, muy contentos como siempre, Juanito, por este gran invitado que tenemos el día de hoy. La verdad es que podemos inclusive decir que los programas que él hace nos inspiraron un poquito para animarnos a hacer Haciendo el Oso. Bueno, a ti que iniciaste con todo este proyecto, sí. ¿Cómo te inspiró el invitado de hoy?
Pues básicamente yo quería hacer lo que hacía Phil Ottochian y su equipo de trabajo, ¿no? Claudio y demás, algo así queríamos, pero en una versión en español, ¿no? Sabemos que hay mucho material de los Chicago Bears en español, hay gente muy profesional, como los amigos de Fanaticosos, a cuales les mando un gran saludo, realmente personas admirables, conocedoras del tema, pero yo tenía esa idea, ¿no? De tener algo más en confianza, algo a lo mejor menos serio, un poquito más de relajo, más entre amigos, y bueno, ellos nos inspiraron para hacer lo que estamos haciendo el día de hoy, Loki.
Así es, amigo, la verdad es que sí son un gran role model, la verdad es que los programas que hacen son muy profesionales, y esperen un ratito porque estoy buscando mi temario aquí, porque tenemos temario, tenemos un script, no crean que nada más venimos a improvisar y a decir puras pendejadas, no, sí tenemos por ahí un poquito del show ya scripteado. Queremos mandarle un saludo a Gaby Fernández de Lara y a Oscar Oso Ortiz de Pinedo, que llegarán en cuanto puedan, tuvieron ahí unas cosillas que hacer de trabajo, y bueno, Yair Osborne, ¿cómo estás? Saludos, Yair Osborne, esa es la cuenta apócrifa de Yair Cutler,
¿verdad?
Sí, cómo no. Bueno, pues la verdad yo creo que deberíamos empezar, Juanito, porque vamos a presentar con bombo y platillo a un experto de los Osos de Chicago. Su papá fue coach profesional de fútbol americano, la verdad es que es un estuche de monerías, todos los shows que hace, The Tape Never Lies Network, donde ustedes pueden buscarlo en www.ttnl .com, ahí pueden checar todos sus programas, y por supuesto en todos los grupos, en The Bears, True Bears Fan Zone, Chicago Bears Fan Forever. Alberto, le mandamos un saludo, por supuesto, Alberto Velázquez, ¿no? ¿Sí es Velázquez? Sí, no me acuerdo. Alberto, ¿tú sabes quién eres? Te mando un abrazo, hermano, el dueño de la página True Bears Fan Zone, Chicago Bears Fan Forever. Así que bueno, sin más ni más, vamos a traer al invitado del día de hoy, el creador de muchas canciones muy chistosas, como por ejemplo la canción de Fire, John Fox, es buenísima, pueden encontrarla en YouTube. Y bueno, vamos a presentar el día de hoy en un programa 100% en inglés, que bueno, no 100% ya, ¿verdad? Porque estamos dando la introducción en español. Ahí está Oscar Ortiz de Pinedo ya. ¿Cómo estás, Oscar Oso? Ah, qué buena cabeza de oso, mira, eres igualito a Don Wachter. eres prácticamente Don Wachter, güey. Pero bueno, Oscar Oso Ortiz de Pinedo ya nos acompaña y vamos a recibir a Oscar Oso presentando al invitado del día de hoy. Ya estábamos haciendo su introducción. Tenemos al experto de los Osos de Chicago, al dueño de la página de Shape Never Lies, de programas como Keep It 100. Y él es el mismísimo Dr. Draft Phil Ottochian.
Oh.
Why you always in a mood? Ryan Pace, what you trying to do? Messing around with the team, who fans are really getting screwed. Dalton Foles, Mike Glennon too. Why can't the Bears come through? Why you always in a mood? Ryan Pace, what you trying to do? Messing around with the team, who fans are really getting screwed. Dalton Foles, Mike Glennon too. Why can't the Bears come through? I can never get attached. The Bears are always crap. Sometimes they make me feel bad. Baby, I am not so glad. I wanted more from you. You promised me more too. Man, it's obvious, elephant in the room. You keep teasing us, why can't you come through? You keep downgrading, yeah, of course you do. Now I can't stand even watching you. They play games, they lose, and they cause us depression. We've been here before, and I won't be a victim. Why you always in a mood? Ryan Pace, what you trying to do? Messing around with the team, who fans are really getting screwed. Dalton Foles, Mike Glennon too. Why can't the Bears come through? Why you always in a mood? Ryan Pace, what you trying to do? Messing around with the team, who fans are really getting screwed. Dalton Foles, Mike Glennon too. Why can't the Bears come through?
Hey, I got to clap with you, I think.
How you doing, my friend?
How you doing, guys?
Cool.
Very happy to have you here. This is Oscar. You didn't meet him before in backstage. There is Oscar Ortiz de Pinedo.
How you doing, Oscar?
How are you? Fine, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing good tonight. You know, things are happening in the NFL, just not with our Chicago Bears.
Yeah, everybody's doing something except from us, right?
Right.
Ryan Pace, what you trying to do? This is, well, we need to clarify, this is not a Phil Ottochian song, but he has many of these songs like this, right, Phil?
Right. Yeah, I got a lot of parody songs. I could grade that song. It was a solid B.
Yeah, I know that you are a very great fan of hip hop music, right?
Oh, I love the hip hop music. That's where my culture is born. Football and hip hop.
Football and hip hop. Very good.
Yes.
Well, very happy to have you here, Phil. As you mentioned, a lot of things are happening in the NFL. Many things, many teams are doing moves. Many things are trading picks. This morning we saw what happened with Miami. So let's start, Phil, by asking you, as we ask all of our guests, how did you become a Chicago Bears fan?
Yeah, I've told this story many times. My father is a high school football coach for 33 years, Hall of Fame coach here in Connecticut.
Wow.
And when I was in second grade, going into third grade, second or third grade, my father knew that I wanted to be a running back. So he asked me to watch this VHS at the time. A lot of these millennials don't know what that is.
Yeah,
so
this big cassette.
Yeah, he popped in this tape, and I was watching, all these running backs from the late 70s, early 80s, Billy Sims, Tony Dorsett, Franco Harris, and then this guy just jumped off the tape. As the tape never lies.
Number 34.
It was number 34. And I go, I want to be that guy. And my father said, that's Walter Payton. He plays for the Chicago Bears. And so just my loyalty to Walter transcended as a young boy, then you started cheering for the team and him. So as you guys know, when you're a Chicago Bears fan, the greatest of all time just happened to be him and the team and the colors and the jerseys. And see, that's my high school jersey there. We just happen to be the same colors as the Bears too. So it all, it all worked out together. So the reality of that, really, my loyalty to the Chicago Bears was infinite at that point. And then when I went into 6th grade, was the 85 Bears. And I remember it like it was yesterday. That was just the greatest team in football, and hip hop was in it with the Super Bowl Shuffle. It just had everything that I was in love with. So that's how I became a Chicago Bear. And it's been like that for my life. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's a great story, my friend. We're very thrilled having you here tonight. We know that you have a lot of projects going on with the Tape Never Lies Network, with the show Keep It 100. You do a lot of things. You do it very professionally. So we actually were telling the viewers that you guys are our role model, right, Juanito?
Absolutely, absolutely. We want to be like you guys when we grow up.
Well, any way we can help it, Loki, Uncle Loki, Tio Loki.
Yeah, that's me.
Anytime you need.
Thank you.
That's what we do here. That's why I wanted Loki you to come on our show, because I feel like there's plenty of room for good Chicago Bears talk and analysis, and you guys are something different. Like, I've known this girl right underneath me here, Heidi.
Cousin Heidi.
For the last, Cousin Heidi, since I was the one who gave her that nickname, Cousin Heidi, for 6 years. And the reality of these relationships that you get with fans, I'm seeing a Spanish only speaking podcast, and I find out that you guys are in Mexico, and I'm like, my wife will tell you, she's an English as a second language teacher like you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I did a little research on you, and she does what you do. And, the whole infatuation for accents for me, I love it. As people say, I have an accent, and then I hear the Chicago accent, New York accent. You guys have an accent when you speak English. So I just love that. And like, I don't laugh at people. I laugh with and enjoy it. So to hear you guys flowing, and I have no idea. And then, I always say I knew 5 Spanish words, hermano and Budweiser of the soccer.
Any curse language?
We're gonna teach you some phrases, Phil, tonight. So don't worry about it.
True story. I took my wife to Mexico, to Tulum in the Mayan Riviera, and she fell in love with Mexico. We want to go back so bad, and COVID had hit, but it's a beautiful country. There's two nationalities I've never met a bad person in, and this is just the truth, my experience. Jamaicans and Mexicans. I've never met, like, every one of them I get along with. Like, it's just, I don't want to knock on wood. I've just the love and the compassion for the people. They're just good people. And, I live in this country, not to get into politics, and that energy about pointing fingers and Mexicans and the wall and all that shit. I just hated it. I don't know if I could swear on here.
Yeah,
so
you can do it.
I just don't like that stuff. I stand for the truth. That's really what our network is about, because the tape is the football truth, and then we all have to face our demons and make mistakes, and we face those, and we also we call out the frauds. So that's really how we get down here on the network. So to see you guys speaking like that, really, I'm so happy to be here. You've actually turned the page into English for me. So I'm honored to be on the show like that.
Thank you, my friend. We are honored to have you here, definitely. Oscar, do you want us to begin? Do you have any question for our friends before we start with the script today?
No, well, yes, I have many questions, but honestly, none of them comes to my head right now because I'm so nervous.
I have one before we
You are
start.
nervous. Okay, Juanito has a question for Phil.
You know, I'm nervous too, bro. I'm nervous too. Doctor, you mentioned that you are from Connecticut.
Yeah.
How is it to be a Bears fan in the middle of a state where I suppose there's a lot of Jets and Giants fan? Are you like the only Bears fan in your neighborhood?
Oh my God, you guys don't have any. I'm telling you, it's a crazy thing that my wife had married into with an understanding. I go, I don't drink, I don't gamble, I don't do drugs. My one addiction is the Chicago Bears. I gotta watch them every fucking Sunday, no matter what. When I have a friend that's getting married on a Sunday in football, they're no longer my friend. That's how I feel. So, but in Connecticut, to answer your question, there's a lot of Patriot fans here because it's a New England state. So you got a Patriots, Jets, and Giants. A lot of my friends growing up were Giants. In fact, there was very few. This is how keeping it 100 with you guys. Very few Patriot fans as I was a kid growing up. There was nowhere to be found because they didn't win.
They didn't win
you
shit.
See a lot of front runners now. They're Patriot fans. And that's what you deal with. But to be perfectly honest, guys, literally a block away, my sons will tell you they drive to school every day. There's a house with a Bears flag on it.
Oh, cool.
There's Bears fans.
Do you know the guy?
No. And then we were driving. I think you saw it, Loki, and we happened to take a wrong turn. And this is like maybe a mile from our house. And we were pulling, and the guy had a Chicago Bears basketball hoop.
I saw the picture.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I went in there and I stuck a Tape Never Lies Network T-shirt in his mailbox. So yeah, I haven't met them. I'll always say go Bears, if I see someone, but anywhere you go, there's Bears fans. It's unbelievable. Bears fans recognize, just like Rio recognize Rio. In Connecticut, they have Bears, bar. They have a Bears fan club. So yeah, they have a lot of Bears fans everywhere you go. In fact, I was in Rhode Island, and there's a Bears fans everywhere. I was over in South Carolina, Bears fans everywhere. They're all over the world. It's amazing how Bears fans are so loyal. Yeah. They're not always the smartest, but they are loyal.
Yeah, we are. Definitely. Well, one of the main reasons why we started all of these things, Juanito with the network and Cesar Flores, who we sent our greetings to him, shout outs to him, the creator of the Facebook group, Osos MX, Bears MX. We started with this because we kind of felt lonely, it is like you are the only Bear fan here in Mexico, and then you realize that it is not like that. There's a lot of fans, and then we have reunions. They have a lot of reunions in Monterrey. They actually gather hundreds of people there, hundreds of Bears fans. So it is amazing. As you say, we're very loyal. We are loyal, and we are everywhere.
Yeah,
you can come one of these days.
Yeah.
My boy, Pablo Jax. Do you know him?
No.
Oh, so he's from Mexico, and true story, this guy was a huge fan of me. He flew into Chicago just to meet me at a bar in Chicago because he's such a fan of our show and my breakdown. But he's from Mexico. He has season tickets to the Bears. That's how. So I know people. So shout out to Pablo Jax. Hopefully we get him. And I think he was on my boy's show. Heidi is on the podcast. What's the podcast? I'm so sorry. They have a Spanish-speaking podcast.
Yeah, Fanaticosos.
Fanaticosos, yeah.
Fanaticosos. Pablo was on that show speaking there. But, this
so
is what
Heidi, you're going to be our agent, so you have to bring Pablo here.
You got to get Pablo on your show. That's that guy's a brother for life. Just like, I'm meeting Loki. I love this dude. I'll do anything, for good people like that. So now Juan and Oscar, you don't have to be nervous. I make everybody nervous. I don't know. Maybe because I'm so
it is kind of the feeling that I had when I went to your show, when you kindly invited me to your show, when I said, well, I'm going to be with all of these real football experts, and I am like kind of a dumbass. My knowledge is not as good as his.
You were great.
That's why we are nervous, maybe. But well,
Okay.
I think it's time to
let's
begin with the show, and
Oscar
we are going
had a
to.
question.
Yeah.
Oscar
had a question.
Yeah.
No, I think that Oscar said
Oh.
the destroyer.
Green Bay Packers. I hate that.
He looks pissed.
There he is.
He looks pissed. That's a picture, Phil. That's a picture that we took of him when we brought Andy Dalton. The day that we brought Andy Dalton.
This is
True
the day
story.
you found
True
out
story.
Andy Dalton was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like,
I pissed off a lot. So I'm
So
let's get it on, bro.
Yeah, talking about that. Yeah, Oscar?
Yes.
Yeah, that every time that the Bears play is like I have broken I don't know how many controls and things like that. This is a true story, and my daughter Elena, she can relate.
Yes.
That I was with Alexa. She was like this. It was this game at Arizona where we won at because of Urlacher and all this great defense, creating all these turnovers, and Devin Hester just.
You mean the Monday night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Monday night. And I was with my daughter here, and it was like touchdown.
You had your daughter as a baby.
She didn't need to. Go to the
I had the same story, Oscar. I
Really?
kid you not. I was holding my daughter. It was late at night, and I'm like, this baby wouldn't go to sleep, and I'm rocking it, and then she fell asleep, and they're coming back.
Yeah.
Right. And then that Hester run, and I'm like, I couldn't help myself. I'm like, go. And I'm screaming. She stayed asleep. She's now, 16 years old. She's upstairs watching my sons now. So, yeah, I had the same freaking experience, Oscar. I'll never forget that.
Psychiatrist because of that, but yeah.
Good thing that you didn't get too excited and you just threw away your baby like a football or something.
Just like Oscar did.
Just like Oscar did. Yeah.
I kept her.
I'm capable of that and much more because I love the Bears so much, and every time that they screw it up, it's like, oh my God, really?
You fucking idiots.
Do you know Phil? Oscar is a television writer here in Mexico. Yeah, his dad is one of the greatest actors that Mexico has had. So we love his dad. Awesome. Yeah. And we love him, of course. A little bit less. We love his dad more, but
then we do him.
I love this little guy.
Yeah. You have Sharon Rogers there too.
Yeah, but I don't think Sharon Rogers.
No? Sharon Rogers is an amazing doll that she has. Yes. a blonde little doll.
There you go.
That's Sharon Rogers.
Yeah.
Sharon Rogers.
Yeah. We're moving from house to house. Yeah. We're in my dad's house right now. We haven't been able to get to an apartment. They are rebuilding it. Lo están remodelando. ¿Cómo se dice eso, Loki? Tú que eres más.
We're refurbishing. Yeah, it's being. Yeah.
And so we're at my dad's house. That's why I don't have any Chicago Bears memorabilia behind me. Because
I'm handling it all on your head. Don't worry.
Yeah. And I have my Star Wars thing because I love Star Wars and Matrix and things like that.
Look, he has more Star Wars stuff than Chicago Bears.
No, but I'm not at home because everything is in boxes. So, mira, this is you. Fuck you.
Hey.
So, Phil, it's time to talk football, okay?
Yes,
is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's talk about football, baby.
That's it. That's what I'm here for. Go ahead. Ask me.
So, we know that the decision to bring Andy Dalton into the team, it landed a lot on Bill Lazor. I mean, he was his offensive coordinator there at Cincinnati, so that's why Andy Dalton was one of their first options. That's why that's how we think it happened. But What can we expect, Phil? What can we expect with the arrival of Andy Dalton? Do you think that this is just like a smoke screen in order to move forward or higher into the draft to bring a good quarterback and make of Andy Dalton a bridge quarterback for this kid? Or is this really happening? Is this really going to be our quarterback for the next couple of years? What can we expect with this arrival?
Well, this is a couple part question now, because today's trades, as Juan was talking about pre-show, went down. It's putting the Chicago Bears outside the club. They ain't getting in the club to get the quarterbacks. It would absolutely, I mean, you see what the San Francisco 49ers paid to get up to number 3. Now, I think they're going to take my guy, Mac Jones, there. And it's unfortunate because I really think that kid, he was my number 2 quarterback in this whole draft behind Lawrence. But the reality is you're going to see these teams moving up. And when you're at 20 and you've given away so much draft capital, the plan, low-key, if 2 days ago, I would say, yeah, the plan is them getting up and getting one of these young quarterbacks. But I just don't have it in me to tell you that that's going to happen. Now, the one door that remains open is the possibility of the New York Jets, Seattle Seahawks, and the Bears making a 3-way trade to get Russell Wilson. And that's the Andy Dalton is somebody that Pete Carroll really, really likes, has always liked, loved him coming out of the draft. And I'll talk about Andy Dalton right here. So pause that, segue into Andy. Oscar, I know you're concerned, but yeah. I just did a video. We have a patron channel. It's $7 a month. It's www.thetapeneverlies network. I do football coaches breakdowns of each and every free agent as well as the draft. I'll break down these players. I did it all season, post game, showing you what transpired from the tape. Not from the narrative and the stats and the blog boys, I call them, writing the story. I actually show you why, from the coach's angles, Oscar, why these players did what they did, why Andy Dalton is an upgrade to Mitchell Trubisky, and it's not even close. These types of things are showcased in fundamentals, and Andy Dalton really is probably the most solid quarterback we've had fundamentally. And I'm talking about pre-snap and post-snap since Eric Kramer. And we've had a bunch of quarterbacks come through here. This kid is a student of the game. His fundamentals, his accuracy and anticipation are honestly, I have my partner Berlissimo from England cutting his old Bengals tape with Bill Lazor calling plays. Me and my father went over that on our other patron pop-up show. We do a live show and we break down the tape live and show you these, 3-step game, 3-step drop, 5-step drop. What's their footwork like? Where's their decision? What's the coverage? So we're breaking it all down in real time. And then I do a video series. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Oscar, The Tape Never Lies. And I put the beat to it and I go through it. Right then and there, one take, I go bam, bam, bam. This is what transpired. Look at this guy. And we could pull that up if you want. We could put it up. What's up, Michael? There's one of my guys. And really, Andy Dalton comes off the tape as a very solid quarterback. He's not the elite quarterback that Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, but he's right there. And I went through every snap with the Cowboys that he took. And I'm telling you, this football player, I was even impressed, came away like, wow, this kid fundamentally is doing everything in his power. And the comparison for you would be Josh McCown. If you liked what Josh McCown did when he was with the Chicago Bears, he's more athletic. He's tough as hell. He's a ginger. My father always said to me, Phil, those redhead kids, they've been picked on their whole life. They got freckles. They have red hair.
And they don't have a soul.
And they are tough son of a bitches. And he was 100% right. The rifle, red rifle, he is not somebody that I think Bears fans are like, I was not with you, Oscar. I didn't see you. I was just upset with the complete and utter disgrace that the Bears fans took to social media, burying a guy that's coming into town to take on a position that has been a fucking desert oasis of quarterback play. There's been a blip with Jay
for 100 years.
For 100 years, you got Jay Cutler. God created a quarterback. It was Jay. Jay just didn't have it here and here. He didn't have that heart, that desire to be a leader.
Yeah.
And we had Rashid Davis, former Chicago Bear, on our show last week. We confronted. He said Rex Grossman was a really great quarterback to play with him. He just got injured and what have you. And you saw Rex show those glimmers and what have you. But he said Jay Cutler, he would pick Grossman and Orton before he played with Jay Cutler.
Wow.
He was just keeping it 100 on the show. You got to check it out. And really, that's what I've heard over and over, over and over and over with Jay. Listen, my father always said, you can't win with potential. You can't win with potential. It's an empty promise. You got to go out there.
Mitch Trubisky.
And there you go. Now we have Mitch, and Mitch's continuous lackadaisical approach to his footwork and fundamentals, his pre-snap reads, Oscar, was completely his biggest issue and hurdle on the football field, and then his mental processing in the pocket. He was so quickly to get out of there, and I think the media, the fans, there's huge Mitch Trubisky fans, and then there's people that don't like Mitch Trubisky, and I think that really hurt this kid. This is a tough city to play quarterback in. It really is. And the reality of this guy, going back to my original point, Andy Dalton coming here, facing that to want to be a starting quarterback, because he had other offers out there. That was confirmed to me. For him to come here,
your sources?
Give this no sources. Give this guy a shot under center and go watch the tape Never Lies, because I'm breaking it down and I'm not writing a story to get views or clicks. I'm just doing it because I want the truth. When Mike Glennon came here, I was devastated. I looked worse than Oscar than he did, because I can't even fathom. I saw like a few things that you could like about Mike Glennon, but Mitch Trubisky was leaps and bounds ahead of Mike Glennon. And obviously that happened and pushed him off the field. And then when I look at Trubisky and Dalton, if Trubisky's like a 2, Dalton would be a 10. That's how different fundamentally they are.
You really think so?
I really, the tape tells me that.
I'm going to love this guy, and I don't want to love Andy Dalton. So stop talking good about him.
Do me a favor, Oscar.
Okay.
Subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Patreon channel. On there, there'll be a post of Andy Dalton. It'll be 25 minutes. 25 minutes of me breaking him down each and every play. Ask Cousin Heidi. Everybody, listen, I'm the guy who destroyed the narrative on Khalil Mack when people are saying Khalil Mack's overrated. I go, yeah, let's watch the tape and let me show you exactly why Khalil Mack is who he is. And he's taking on doubles and triples. He's destroying the line of scrimmage. He's forcing the play to his team. So once fans were like, holy shit, you're my debate killer. You're the guy I send everybody to see. And I'm also the guy that destroyed Charles Leno and showed everybody why Charles Leno is soft as puppy shit. He needs to get better. He needs to work out and get more physical and approach the game like a professional should. Otherwise,
he needs to live, if you ask me.
Yes, he's awful. And anybody that tells you different doesn't know football. And I know there's a fucking Leno cult out there trying to say he's average, but the reality is Leno could be average if Leno freaking got in the weight room, if Leno worked his ass out, got in shape, and came in motivated. There's no talent. You're playing in the NFL, of course you're talented. Of course.
Yeah.
But Charles has put the plays on tape that I've talked to four college offensive line coaches that say they have kids on their team that aren't starting that are better than that. He doesn't give effort. That's the reality of the truth. So when I look at it each and every week, and David Montgomery is having to deal with this, and it just shows you how good David is, Leno needs to step up. And if you don't put pressure on people, because Coach Nagy ain't holding anybody accountable on offense, then people like Leno go out there, they get paid, and all of a sudden their play goes like that. And you just look at the timing of Leno playing average, and then he got paid, and it went like this. And thus, that's my stance. But going back, the tape never lies. You can't hide. I can't create graphics to make people look bad. They do that. That's why the eye in the sky doesn't lie. So when I say, if I put my name to Andy Dalton, because I went in there like this, Oscar, let me watch Andy. And my network the same way. All of us the same. Now, he's not going to be the elite quarterback that everybody wants, but I'm going to take an Eric Kramer. I'm going to take a Josh McCown that is going to go out there, be prepared, and make the right decision. So think about some of the throws. Let's just go back real quick. Think about some of the throws that Mitch Trubisky missed in big-time touchdown. I mean, Darnell Mooney against the Tampa Bay Bucks, against the Lions. You had him right there. He missed it. How about Anthony Miller on the over route?
Yeah.
Against the Packers? You got to hit that. The guy's open by 4 yards. Those plays, Andy Dalton is going to deliver. He throws a great catchable ball. And really, truthfully, I put my name to this. This is the best quarterback I've seen fundamentally. Pre-snap, post-snap. And we talk. And once you see it, Oscar, I want you to reach out to me and you tell me what you think, because I have had, and I see some of them in the chat, have had people say, wow, I feel so much better after I watched your breakdown of Andy Dalton, because I'm not in this to manipulate anybody. I'm in it to try to get the Chicago Bears, Ryan Pace, Nagy to get it right, because I don't want to see this team lose. I'm not about that. I want to see them win. And when they win, every week feels a hell of a lot better, doesn't it, in our lives?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. Well, I hope that Oscar
watch it. Now talk. Nah.
I hope that
I'll come back on and you could tell me.
I hope that Oscar is sold by now.
That's of course I wanted to be I want another quarterback, but okay.
Yeah, maybe that's the main disappointment, right? It's not the quarterback that we wanted. I mean, that's one thing. It doesn't mean that he sucks. It's not the quarterback that we wanted. That's why many of the fans were burying this guy from the beginning, from day one, from the day of the announcements. Everybody was talking shit about him, and it is mainly. Yeah, I was, of course. It is mainly because I hadn't watched at that time the breakdown, and well, it is not the quarterback that I wanted. To be honest,
I really wanted Russell Wilson.
All the smoke
on Twitter, and we have Wilson. And we'll be like, oh my God, Super Bowl, here we go.
But everybody got into the smoke and the rumors of Wilson, and they were real. The Bears were involved in it, and the reality is, Oscar, everybody did that, and I'm with you here. Russell Wilson is my favorite quarterback in the entire NFL. So if you think, and I was on him, as my father and I tell the story on our network, well, he was at NC State at the time, and my father, I challenged my dad. I go, Dad, I want you to watch all the quarterbacks today, because we needed a quarterback, and I'm going to watch all the quarterbacks. Then call me later tonight. So it was about 10:30 at night East, and he calls me. He's like, so who do you got? And I was about to tell him. He's like, well, let me tell you who I got first. And he's like, I got Russell Wilson on North Carolina State. And I go, I got the same little motherfucker too. Oh, my God. I love this kid. He ended up transferring to Wisconsin on a 5th year, became the captain there, took them to the Rose Bowl. This is the kind of character. So The Chicago Bears have not had that kind of talent. Oscar, Juan, Loki, you all know. Somebody that can go, that every Sunday we don't have to go to church praying that Jim Miller or Shane Matthews or whoever, Moses Moreno, go down the list, is going to play good today. Please, Mitch. Please, Rex. Have a good game. I used to do that as a kid. Please. We just never had the Aaron Rodgers that they're going to be ready to play at quarterback every Sunday. And this is the National Football League. Now, I'm telling you, I wanted Russell Wilson because he would have brought that. No matter who you're going up against, Russell Wilson is going to be in the game all game long. It doesn't matter. 2 minutes on the clock, you're down 10, you're still in it with Russell Wilson. We haven't had that. And with Andy Dalton ain't going to bring that, but he is going to bring the competitive. If he was a boxer, he's a counter puncher. He's going to keep fighting to the end of the bell. And you saw his little boxing video.
Yeah.
It's the perfect analogy, because the reality is he's not that guy like Mike Tyson going to knock everybody out like Tom Brady, but he is the guy that's going to keep punching and keep you in the games. And I think he was on shitty teams. I mean, when we watched the Cincinnati, and he's got nobody but one guy, and he's delivering strike and getting hit, strike, and he's hitting these guys. And it's impressive when you watch the tape. Andy Dalton,
a couple of 4,000 yarders there.
Oh yeah, we've never seen that in the history.
Never.
So if Andy Dalton, he didn't put up one of those, he's put up 5 4,000-yard seasons. So this isn't some Mike Glennon ass coming in here being a clipboard holder starting. This isn't Matt Nagy in the Arena League going to be playing for the Chicago Bears. This is a professional quarterback. That's the best way I could tell you. When you watch my video breakdown, www.thetape, all one word.com. It's $7 a month. We do pop-up live shows. We do a draft show called Draft Mob every Sunday. We have a mock draft this Sunday. We're going to be watching Justin Fields and going over his tape live. And we interact right here, just like this on StreamYard. We put up the tape and talk it through with Shane, the smartest man, and Berlissimo from England. So that's what we do. And then we'll have a mock draft. We already did a mock draft where we got Mac Jones, Oscar. But that's not going to happen anymore. He's going to be going number 3. Put that in pen right now.
Okay.
The San Francisco. Do it right now. San Francisco.
Write it down.
You will remember me, and San Francisco, Mac Jones. He'll be right there. And number 2. So Andy Dalton, and maybe I'll read this. Maybe what's his name? Sam Darnold might be a trade that you might see the Chicago Bears make. And Sam Darnold, I really like his potential, but he's not at the place that Andy Dalton is. So that's just coming from the tape. So, Phil, I want to ask your opinion about Akeem Hicks. I really think the Bears are treating him like a stranger when he's being – listen, I was the same way with him, and I know we're going to get into that. Do you want me to answer this now?
Yeah.
So Akeem Hicks is Heidi's husband, I believe, but the reality is my father and I did a Oscar. When you go on the Patreon channel, there'll be a history, and we did a full breakdown of Akeem Hicks. Me and my father looking at Akeem Hicks. Is he worth it to keep? Is he hit his age, or do we want to get rid of him and save money on the cap? We both came away. This guy is dominant and too good to not have on the Chicago Bears. I felt like it was a disgrace by Ryan Pace to even put that out there. I think it hurt Akeem Hicks' feelings. I'll keep it 100. I think he's not soft. I think he's very sensitive, and he's emotional because he loves his team so much. So I think Ryan Pace and company putting that out there was not only disgraceful, it was hurtful to this football player. Now it's part of the business. I get it, but I'm just keeping it 100. We've had Akeem Hicks on our show, and this is a guy that I feel like wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think that bothered him. And it would bother it. Listen, my boys are cap guys. I'm a fuck a cap philosopher. I don't give a shit about the cap. You can manipulate money 100 times out of 100 times. I think that Akeem Hicks is somebody you can't ever turn on, and I felt like they almost did the wrong thing. I really believe that. And at least they course corrected, but they got rid of another fucking consummate professional in Kyle Fuller.
Yeah.
So that really bothered me too. I get the cap number, but I felt like, let me say this real quick. I know I talk a lot.
They should have done something more, right?
You should have talked to him in November. You should have went to your professional corner, all pro. He's grown up here, and said to him, listen, there's collusion with these owners. They know the fucking TV deals right around the corner. This cap's going to freaking go skyrocket the next year. And look at they saw $113 billion in TV revenue. That doesn't include Madden. That doesn't include commercials. This doesn't include
memorabilia.
Sponsorships.
This is $113 billion that is going to all these teams. Don't give me this shit that you're crying poor because nobody's at the games because of COVID. That's the biggest crock of shit. It's collusion. It's disgraceful that they dropped the cap. If they, you know what would be nice? If they kept the cap exactly where it was, then I would have less anger and angst over this bullshit. But I'm the only one, and my network is the only one calling this shit out. We had Kenneth Davis from NBC Sports Chicago come on with us, and he, to his credit, did the same thing. And my boy Sean Sierra over at Maya and Sean and Maya in the morning, they are calling this collusion out. It's the disgrace, and the Bears pay for it in two ways. A, they had to get rid of a huge piece of their team, but B, like you said, Juan, you go to this guy as a GM and you completely be transparent. You are such a huge part of this team. We need to extend you because this is a guy that can move from corner to safety when he loses that step. He's too physical. He's a student of the game, a consummate professional. You never even hear the guy say a word. Have you ever seen an interview with the guy? Never. So to lose that kind of person with a secondary, by the way, that's as immature and completely inappropriate as my sons in first grade talk about poopies and all this other shit. So it's an embarrassment. That really, no way, like Michael said, should he have been released. You should have extended him and shown him the money going forward. It is depressing. It is sad, but you know, it's a business. My uncle Sam Ritigliano was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. He told me, It's a business. It's sad. There's a lot of shoe salesmen with names in this league that don't know dick about football. They don't know anything about race and having compassion for people and ethnicities. They're all about money. That's it. So when you put money before things, you see what happens to franchises like the Jets and the Bears and all this shit. You don't put football people first. Your product sucks. So it sucks that Kyle's gone. They did sign a good cornerback in this kid. So it's unfortunate because I thought Kyle was top 3 corner in the league without a doubt in my mind on the tape. No.
Do you think that Desmond Trufant is going to cover well for him?
Trufant's only issue is his ability to stay healthy. Like Kyle always is out there.
Yeah.
Trufant is a physical, confident motherfucker. He plays hard. We're going to be breaking him down tomorrow, me and my father. We're going to be breaking down Desmond Trufant, Jeremiah Otochu. How do you say his name?
Otochu.
It's almost like my last name, Ottochian and Ottochu.
Yeah, gotten similar.
That kid is a football player. I love that kid coming out of Georgia Tech. He ended up going to the Chargers, then the Broncos. Now he's here. You're going to want to watch that breakdown. He's a really good pass rusher. I think you're getting an upgrade to Mingo, who I thought Mingo played really well on tape last year. It was a surprise how tough he played, but I think you're getting a better pass rusher, especially over Waters and those
with
Jeremiah. Yeah. So Jeremiah is going to be we're going to break him down. And then the offensive tackle Wilkinson, Elijah Wilkinson. We're going to break down
I was talking to his brother. His brother
really?
is in one of his brother is in one of my groups. And I was talking to him, and he looks very excited to come to Chicago.
Yeah, we're gonna break down him. I'm excited about him because he's got a lot of length in his arms, a lot of strength. He's somebody who plays the game with a chip on his shoulder. He's got some work to do, but honestly, when you see him fire out, he's going aggressive to the whistle. That's something that we're not seeing from our left tackle.
Yeah. Juanito, let's continue with the show. And there it was, like a complete breakdown of Andy Dalton and these couple of guys. But in the latest of the arrivals, Juanito, it was a very good one, in my opinion. If you ask me, he's a great running back. It was a great part of the Super Bowl Kansas City obtained a couple of years ago. And we're talking, of course, about Damian Williams. But, Juanito, I want to ask you, what is going to happen if we don't improve our left tackle position? And two, what is going to happen if this stubborn motherfucker Matt Nagy continues killing our running game, continues on hating the running game and bringing it down? I mean, what is going to happen with Damian Williams, a marvelous running back? And do you think, Juanito, that the arrival of Damian Williams is telling us that our guy Cohen can be traded soon? What do you think? Before we ask our guest tonight.
I don't think so. I think, I really like the arrival of Damian Williams,
Me too.
I think that Tariq Cohen performs better, shines better when he's not considered like running back 1 or running back 2. I think when Tariq Cohen is on the field with another running back next to him, causes like a double threat, because he can either run, he can either catch. So I think that he performs way better when there's another running back on the field. So the arrival of Damian Williams, with David Montgomery, it makes me really, really excited. I don't think he's getting traded. I just think that he's like, I would like to think that Matt Nagy wants to give Tariq Cohen that like secondary role in order to make more threat, So,
Nagy already fucked up Mike Davis.
I know. We know that he's not a running back.
We had a great running back there.
Yeah,
he had a great running back there.
He didn't even have a chance. He played like 10 snaps while he was here.
I don't know, maybe.
But I mean, I hope that somebody's telling Matt Nagy to let the running backs run. So I don't think Tariq Cohen is getting traded. He's a very important player in our team, and I don't know. It makes me really, really excited to know that we're gonna have another running back here.
Yeah. Before we go with Dr. Phil talking about Damian Williams, we are going to say goodbye to our friend Oscar Ortiz de Pineda because he has a lot of work tonight. He's about to start a soap and a sitcom, so he has a lot of writing to do. So thank you very much for being here, Oscar. Muchas gracias, hermano, como siempre.
Oscar, I hope you follow me on Instagram, Oscar. And
yeah, I'll do it.
And
wait a minute. I'm going to write it down.
And then I want to see you in the Patreon, and I want your review. And then I come back, I want to hear it.
And we'll talk.
And then we'll talk what you think.
Of course. Okay. And, I just want to express how honored I am and we are of having you here, because we are all Bears fans. I mean, I've been a Bears fan since '85, like most of us. But I don't know really much about football. I'm more like, I love football, but I don't really know. And I know that you know. So I love that. So
that's why I want you to go over there and watch, because honestly, I'm teaching people that have never played or know the game. They watch it, they love it, but then they go to the tapeneverliesnetwork.com and they're like, holy shit, I'm learning. And then it's interactive. What do you mean? What is a 5-eye? What is a kiss block? What is a kick out block? And we go over these things so that you can watch the game and understand it a hell of a lot better. and enjoy it more, because you feel more, oh shit, this is where they should have ran the trap. And you start knowing, because I was just impressed with Juan's breakdown of the running back position. So that's really why we did this, and why the tape is so important to teach. And that's really what it is. So you're going to be my brother now, Oscar. You write me into, if you want me to come on the soap and act, I'll give it a shot.
Hey, you should better get in line.
Well, actually, we are, ¿cómo dices que lo vamos a estrenar, Loki?
It premieres.
You're going to be premieres.
It's going to premiere
in Univision. In the
Univision.
Univision.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up listening to.
Centro.
You're watching Univision.
Univision, Mexico, Budweiser. That's what I would call.
Ahora sabremos por qué Valentina está verdaderamente enamorada.
Goal.
I like, my buddy Claudio loves soccer, and he's our moderator.
Cool.
And I made him be a Bears fan because he's like my little brother.
Cool.
So now he's our moderator, but his father's from Italy and loves soccer, and he would just watch Univision because it was the only one showing soccer.
Yeah.
So that's where I heard that, and I always laughed that they would say everything in Spanish but Budweiser.
Budweiser. Yeah.
So, we premiere on the 23rd.
The 23rd of April?
Yeah, April 23rd.
Yep.
Univision at 9:30 Central Pacific.
Right.
No idea.
I'm going to try to watch it.
Yeah,
Loki.
It's a telenovela. It's like
the drama.
It's a soap. Yeah.
It's a soap opera.
My wife can translate it all. You write all the twists and turns on those shows.
Yeah, everything. And
I like the dramatic close up when they're like,
yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
What are you talking about?
what are you talking about?
Man,
Exactly.
The other one, like, hey, you. And then the other one.
And it is always something like, he's your father. Oh my God!
No.
You can't marry him. He's your father.
None of he's my father. Yeah, and and the other one is a sitcom. So it's like I write a little bit of everything.
That's
And I used
awesome,
to
That's
play.
awesome. Well, don't forget, follow me because I want to keep in touch with you.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Phil. Thank you
All,
very much.
all three of you, obviously. but
absolutely. I will.
got it.
Loki.
God bless you, man.
Los
Bye,
amo,
my
cabrones.
friend.
Los amo, todos ustedes los amo, como dicen los
Quiero,
colombianos.
cabrón.
Te queremos, cabrón.
If Heidi speaks good of you, Oscar, then you must be good. You must
Thank
be
you very
good.
much. Thank you
God
very
bless.
much. Well,
Okay.
I'll leave saying bear down.
Bear down,
baby.
Oscar.
They're down.
We're
They're
down.
down,
Oh,
Chicago
guys,
Bears.
Keep it cool.
So, Dr. Phil.
Yes.
Damian Williams.
Damian
Go.
Williams. Yes. I thought Juan actually did a great job breaking that down. I'm kind of step for step with him. The curiosity here is, Cordero Patterson. That role was Cordero had great effort, toughness, and speed, but he just wasn't an instinctive runner. And when you're giving carries or taking carries away from David Montgomery in critical situations, then you're doing it wrong as a coach. So the reality is Damian Williams is a guy that has the history in the zone scheme, that has the understanding of what he's going to do and what he's going to bring to the table. Here's a player that completely understands how to run zone scheme and fit into what Andy Reid and his style of offense is. So Bill Lazor, Matt Nagy has a history with, he brings Andy Reid up every time he's under pressure. He brings up Andy Reid's name. You watch.
Yeah.
Anytime he's done something dumb, he's like, well, the great coach, Andy Reid. And reality is, I don't know that. I'm not going to go there yet. But the reality is Damon Williams is somebody that really is an instinctive zone scheme runner that would be the perfect number 2 runner to David Montgomery. David Montgomery's elite. David Montgomery's better than anybody in the NFL will understand that he is. He's so good on tape. The offensive line troubles that the Chicago Bears had, I forget, one of my followers sent me this stat. It was like 64% of the time David Montgomery was getting hit in the backfield. Out of the 64% of the time he was hit, he's gained 695 yards after contact. That shows
the way
you
he breaks tackles.
Oh
amazing.
my God. The only one I've ever seen is Walter Payton like this guy. He's an animal in contact and carrying dudes. Second effort. I just look at my dad, and we broke down David Montgomery on our patron page, and we just were sitting there just having a blast because you're laughing because it's so amazing what he's doing on a 4-yard run. Forget a friggin' 80-yard run, 4 yards. He's eluding the nickel that blitzed. He eludes the linebacker. The guard misses his block. The nose guard's coming. He stiff arms him, gets into. It's like, imagine if this guy had an offensive line like Emmitt Smith did. This guy would be hitting the hole and getting to the second level. He'd be getting 8 yards a carry. That's how talented this kid is. And really, when he was coming out of Iowa State, he led the country in broken tackles. He's able to transfer that into the NFL, and he's gotten a hell of a lot. Working out with my boy, the footwork king down in Houston. Got to shout him out. Working with him, you could see this guy is improved in regards to his quickness and his elusiveness in escapability into the secondary. So Damian Williams will be the perfect 2-punch if that's how Matt Nagy uses him. My fear, though, guys, is what Loki said at the top. This motherfucker, could he understand how important this guy hasn't figured out his identity in 3 years? He couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
He was coach of the year because Vic Fangio and his defense had 39 turnovers, scored 7 touchdowns that season, and they won the NFC North because the defense won that season for them and gave them short fields. And he allowed Mitch to go rolling out and do half reads and RPO and things that Mitch was successful doing. So it's going to be interesting if Matt can just understand how important the running back position. I think Andy Dalton's voice is going to be a hell of a lot stronger than Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, especially with the draft. You never know with the draft. I gave it 90% chance that there's not going to be a new quarterback in the first round, but Ryan Pace has been known to freaking throw draft picks. So the only way you're getting there is to get to Cincinnati at number 6, I believe they are.
Yep.
And that would be probably there's going to be 4 quarterbacks going right off the board in the top 4 now. So
yeah, it's going to be a very unique draft, definitely, with so many top quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very, very unique. Very unique.
So we already covered our arrivals.
Yes.
We already have the opinion of Dr. Phil about Damian Williams. It's going to be very important, a very good number 2. Maybe this year would be our finally we will have our Run DMC. We tried with Mike Davis.
Exactly.
Matt Nagy fucked it up. So maybe
I hope they put Cohen back at kick returner because they lost Cordero Patterson. I think you got to use him in those ways, Juan, where he's open to use his dynamic speed. He always runs east-west, although prior to getting hurt, he was showing me on the tape, to my surprise, that he came in, Tariq Cohen, that is, more intent on being physical. But what happened to him? He ended up getting hurt. So how is he going to transfer this year? You don't have a kick returner right now. I would love to see him used, as Juan said, third downs, put him in the backfield with David Montgomery and isolate him on a player that can't cover him. Matt Nagy just can't figure out how to use this kind of chess piece because there's no doubt in my mind that Tariq Cohen's stop-start ability is equivalent to like a Wes Welker, that he's able to juke, get open, and give your quarterback a quick read, get it to him, get it up the field. And that's the kind of stuff that you want to see your coaching staff prepared, scheming players open, not just running plays like the Matt Nagy that we've seen for the last 3 years.
Yeah, it looks like instead of adapting to your roster, Matt Nagy wants his roster to adapt to what he wants.
Exactly.
And you know what? We had a guest here. Remember, Loki, that he is a coach, and he told us that
Coach Ivan.
Exactly, a good coach adapts to his players. Adapts to his roster, and sometimes I think Matt Nagy has a lot of stubbornness. He's been a very, very stubborn person, and he wants his players to adapt to what he wants. And I think that's
rule number one. Rule number one, Juan. You're so impressing me tonight. I love this.
Oh, thanks.
I'm serious.
He was nervous.
Hey, it's all right, man. The reality is, rule number one in coaching. My father taught me this when he first hired me to coach. Rule number one: you do what your players do best, not what you can do. What your offense is what they can do. So it's important. Now, that even on a high school level, you're not recruiting players. At Ohio State, we're going to run our offense because we're going to recruit those players. In the NFL, Matt Nagy's never been a head coach in his life. Yet he's the head coach of the charter franchise. Think about that. Imagine, Juan, you got a job and you're the head coach because you called plays. And you really didn't call plays, but somebody who says that you're good is giving you, it's that old white boy thing, that white network of, hey, and people hate to hear that, but it happens. My uncle told me it happens all the time. The good old boys network. I know a guy, he's my friend. You got to hire him. And this guy, and these backdoor deals, and all of a sudden people that aren't capable of being a head football coach, because a head football coach is a freaking CEO of the team. You have to be able to, thank you, Rock. I appreciate that. You have to be able to understand how to hold players accountable, how to be involved in the game. You can't be here worrying about plays while your defense is out there. You got to understand everybody and everything that's going on. You got to be communicating with your coordinators as well as your players. And if you're absent of just your fear of how you're going to look, like you said, then you're not doing it right. And unfortunately, the Bears hired a guy that was learning to be a head coach on the job. And that's a travesty in coaching, because you got to have some head coaching experience. I just still can't believe it. I still can't. It's like Tressman being hired before Bruce Arians. Come on. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of Matt Nagy at all. I never have been. I've been his biggest critic since even when they won the North. I was in the audience at the Tampa game when Mitch threw 6, yelling, "How are you taking Jordan Howard out of the fucking game? He just hit it for 15. Then he pulls him out. He's trying to run a trick play, shovel back. Like, come on. Just run the fucking ball down their throats and put them away, or action game off of it. Do something that counters what you're doing." I'm sorry. I went on that little rant, but it gets me fired up.
It's okay. It's okay. We've been there.
I agree there.
Yeah, definitely. So with the arrivals covered, it's time for the painful part. The departures. Dr. Phil Ottochian having his opinion here with us tonight in Haciendo el Oso. First of all, to all the fans of Phil Ottochian, we want to apologize. Our English might not be as well, of course. But, well, English, as you know, is not our native language, so we're trying to do our best to get across as we want. So thank you for being here. All the fans of Phil that he brought with him tonight, thank you. Thank you very much. So the departures, obviously, we already covered a little bit about Fuller's departure. But what about Roy Robertson Harris? What about Brent Irvin? What about Bobby Massey? How are those departures going to affect us, Phil?
Roy Robertson Harris, to me, was used the wrong way. I've been a huge,
Sherry, thank you.
huge fan, and I agree with Sherry. Your English is just fine.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely perfect, and keeping it 100 fashion. as I do. But yeah, Roy Robertson Harris to me was somebody that should be opposite Khalil Mack, rushing from the edge. He's so fucking powerful and strong and fast. He's tenacious. They were using him as more of a 3-4 defensive end, just, you know, taking on doubles. And I swear to you, I forget what game it was. I'm like, you got to move Roy Robertson outside because these edge players are getting destroyed. And sure enough, they did it. And you saw what kind of talent he could be at the edge position. It's just unfortunate that, you know, here's a young player that goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars and they're going to reap rewards. It's going to be interesting. I guarantee he's going to be playing the edge in Jacksonville and people are going to be like, why didn't we get those 12 sacks that he got? And that's the reality of that kind of athlete and strength. I met that dude in Chicago after I met your boy Roberto Garza. I was at Yoke down in the city before the Packers game. We went to breakfast with my boys, Heather and Chris Sandlin. We all went out for breakfast, and there's Roy Robb, and he's like, "Yo, what's up, Draft Dr. Phil?" He knew who I was. It was like an
oh wow!
I was like, "Oh," so I put my hand on his shoulder. I go, "I don't mean to bother you," and it felt like a fucking brick wall. I've been around football players my whole life, and Roy Robertson's shoulder, and it felt like a fucking statue in Greece. It was just like a rock. I'm like, holy shit. And he dominated. If you remember that opening night against Green Bay, he had 2 sacks on Roger. So I should have touched him before every game. Probably would have given him yeah, but he's going to be a lot. You know, they're going to I love the fact that they brought Mario Edwards back. I thought he was an ascending football player, and he is he's playing where he should inside at that 5. He's very good on counter and aggression and maintaining that motor all the way through the whistle. Obviously, he has a suspension he's got to serve, but the reality is they did right by bringing him back. Roy Robb got paid, so you wish him well, and that's it. Yeah. As far as Bobby Massey, it was time for him to go. Thought, you know, he had the vertigo, then he got hurt again. He's been nicked up. And to be perfectly honest, the 2 tackles were so poor. Bobby being better than Leno, even though people will tell you the other Bobby was a much more aggressive player, and he wasn't that aggressive. And you need that, especially when you're running those zone plays. You got to maintain those blocks, maintain the edge, and go after these guys to the whistle. So Bobby, you've already replaced him because you're going to have Ifedi, who played really well at tackle. I thought he was going to be better at guard. Inside. And at first he was, and they were running a lot of stuff that I was excited about against the Giants and the Lions to begin the season. And then all of a sudden their offensive philosophy changed, and they started doing these different things in regards to how they were blocking fronts, which I will go over on our network. So blocking them out, taking them, I think you're going to be better with Ifedi coming back, younger player. He got paid. So, yeah, as he said, I agree 100%. 100%. I don't let anybody tell you different. It's almost like I've never seen anything. Like, I want this team to be better. Charles, again, if you're watching, which sometimes you have been, all I'm asking you to do is get your body right, get your mind right, and come in here and be what we paid you to be, a left tackle for the Chicago Bears. And he hasn't lived up to the payday. And don't forget, it was a high contract when it was signed, right? Mr. Atlas, Pina Lada is here. What does that mean? Pina Lada.
Pina Lada is his name.
Oh, it's his name. I'm sorry. Mr. Atlas, confused me.
One of our friends who lives in the United States, and he's part of the Osos MX page. So, Pina Lada, bear down.
Absolutely. Bear down, Pina Lada. Did I say it right?
That's a great pronunciation. That. Yeah, definitely.
You have to clip that, Acevedo, so I can speak Spanish a little bit. Pina Lada.
Juanito,
if you like Pina Lada,
that's Pina Colada, but yeah, more or less.
Pina Colada.
I drank a lot of those down in Mexico.
Yeah. In margaritas.
I'm sure.
Margarita. Everywhere I went, they're like, "You like tequila? You like tequila?" Of course.
Yeah, they
Actually,
want to
tequila kills me. Makes
shove it
me
to
act like a
to your
crazy.
throats.
Makes me act
Yeah,
crazy.
that's why I don't drink it.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm on tables dancing, taking off my shirt. Can't do it. No more. No
Yeah, well,
more.
that's a Thursday night for me, but well, tequila really, it's crazy for me too. I don't drink it.
Yeah, me neither.
Juanito, do you think that now we have with the departure of Kyle Fuller, we have like a mandatory pick to waste on a cornerback in our draft? Before we ask Dr. Phil, what do you think?
I don't know. Oof. I
Is it a
was.
necessity?
I'm not sure because we brought this guy from Detroit, right? What's his name?
Trufant, Desmond Trufant.
Trufant. I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, there might be a pick over there. I don't know, maybe in the 4th or 5th round, on a late round. But like before that, I really don't think so. That position should be covered with Trufant, and I don't know, like earlier than 4th or 5th round.
Verlon and Shelley, are they going to be
I
fine?
don't think we have Shelby, we have Kendall Birler. They are not the elite players, but I mean they did pretty well last season. I mean, I think these are the guys that deserve a second chance, or that deserve to be, that deserve a chance.
Okay.
So I might not be hype on them, but I mean, I think we got covered.
Yeah, when Jalen Johnson got injured, it was really like a shit show. A couple of games that they came around, and it was a little better. Phil, is it a necessity to bring a cornerback from the draft?
I think they're gonna do it. I don't think it's gonna be in the first round, although Shane has put that in my ear. Watch, Pace is gonna take a corner.
People wants to teach you Spanish now.
Yeah.
We're asking people to teach you some phrases in Spanish before we finish.
You want me to say this?
Or yeah. No? This is just a question. It says that which phrases should we teach you in Spanish? So please, viewers, to all the people that is watching the show, send your phrases that you want Phil Ottochian to read for you.
The most Mexican phrases you can
the most Mexican phrases ever, yeah.
So yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm concerned, obviously, but I do, like I said, both of these corners, and Trufant and Jalen Johnson have a history of injury. So this is the Ryan Pace way. There's a kid on the roster I'm excited about, and Trey Roberson from the Canadian Football League. He ended up getting hurt last year, right during training camp, went like the first week. Artie Burns comes back. He also was hurt. Yep. He was actually projected to be the starter, but I'm really interested in Trey. He played in the Canadian Football League. So both of those guys, Artie Burns was signed tonight. So now you're bringing body. This is the Ryan Pace way. You've seen this before when you had Prince Amukamara. Then he brought in a bunch of other corners, and then they end up drafting one. So
when they brought Jimmy Graham, and they ended up getting Kmetz in the draft.
Exactly. Yeah. So you see a pattern here with this guy, kind of predictable pattern. So listen, I think based on where you are now in the quarterback position, unless there's a Russell Wilson trade, like I said at the top, or a Darnold trade with the Jets, then Sam Darnold, you're going to be looking at offensive tackle position in the first round. And I think that if you're looking at the Chicago Bears roster of needs, I think offensive tackle and quarterback are the top. Obviously, Andy Dalton, if you're just tuning in, as I said, you got to check out the tape, neverlies.com. I did a full 25-minute breakdown of Andy Dalton and came away really impressed. And I think a lot of Bears fans are going to be hating now. And I said the same type of thing when I studied the tape on Jordan Howard. I said people are hating on Jordan, and then his rookie year, you got to see the kind of athlete. Same thing. I've been right hitting these guys as they go into the league based on the tape. Andy Dalton is somebody that's going to be able to be a quality starter. He's not going to lose you games. And then, yes, I have to compose a song for this show. That's what I want to do. I'm going to do that for the show. But yeah, so I just think offensive tackle is going to be the the first round pick. If it was me, based on all these quarterbacks are going to get pushed, right? They're going to push talented players down. So now, exactly when we get on the clock, we're going to have to see who's there based on the talent. The GM, we're going to take the best player available. They always say that, but the little underscore mark down at the bottom.
We don't believe that shit anymore.
Best player available at a position of need. That's what's going to happen, and it always happens. So offensive tackle, quarterback, corner, and receiver. Obviously, you can make a case for they brought Christian Jones back, former Bear. He went to the Lions, and now he's
2014,
back.
We got him,
Yeah, so he was somebody that I thought would play outside or edge. They played him a little bit there, then they moved him inside. He played inside and outside with Detroit. So that he's covering all of these areas of depth with depth 1-year deals right now, Ryan Pace.
Yeah.
So it's Mac Jones is going to be
not
picked
going to be
number
there.
Not even at 10.
I told him to put him at 3. I told him put his Oscar. I said put it in pen. He's going to be a San Francisco 49er. Those fucks are going to get another great quarterback, and we're going to be sitting there because he's one of my favorite. I think there's 5 guys that I really isolated. That's my favorite guys in this draft, and Mac Jones is probably my favorite in the whole draft. That was the guy I really wanted, and every time, Aaron Donald was the guy I really wanted. I wanted Laramie Tunsil. We passed on him. I wanted Marcus Davenport, and we ended up taking Roquan, which was okay. That was a good trade-off there. But I didn't want Kevin White. I wanted Amari Cooper. We missed him, and then so on and so forth. So with my luck, we won't get Mac Jones. We won't get him.
Which of the tackles do you think that are going to be there? Obviously, maybe Christian Darrisaw is not going to be there at 20. Who do you think that we're going to get if we go in our first round for a tackle?
Honestly, the board is going to be all pressed. Players that are being projected to go certain places now aren't because of the quarterback. All these teams trading today are all for quarterback situations. Mm-hmm. So they're setting the deck so they can get their eyes on the prize. You might be seeing a big trade in regards to Russell Wilson with the Jets or the Dolphins that have picked up all these picks. So all of it's going to be quarterback driven to start this draft, and then the chips will fall. So I love the kid from Northwestern, Slater. I know. I wish we could screw the tackle, but we've neglected the tackle for every year that Ryan Pace. He's never taken an offensive tackle in the top half of the draft ever once. We haven't taken an offensive tackle since Gabe Karimi. So think about the neglect you're getting in regards to that. Yes. Teach me how to say that in Spanish, and I'll say that. I'll put it on our show on Wednesday and shout you guys out to cut Leno's ass on keeping it 100, because the tackle position is a huge need here in Chicago. It just is. I don't think people think you could just scheme and get by, and you can, but you only get so far until you need. That's why there's such a premium at that position. It's not, let's go to ShopRite and we just pick up, a great prime rib there. No, you have to go to the meat shop to get the real strong cuts, and that's where you got to go in the draft. So let's see. Slater is probably going to go higher. I love that kid from Northwestern. Mayfield is the guy I took in the mock draft I did on my buddy's show, Philly. They had a Philadelphia Eagles. They had me on, and they had their draft, and I couldn't trade. I couldn't move. I had to pick. So the kid from Michigan, he didn't have the greatest pro day. I wanted to see a better pro day, but I love his tape. He's aggressive, young, has a high ceiling. It's not a potential because he has that aggression. I always look at that, and he's thick. He's built. He's strong. I wish he benched. He didn't bench. I'm talking about Mayfield from Michigan. Your guy, he could be there from Virginia Tech. I like him. Yes. I like a lot of it. He's a tough dude. He's got a great technique. Somebody that is there. And then you got Barlissimo, Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame. He's somebody that not a lot of people, he doesn't have a high grade, but he's somebody that I think will sneak into the first round because he's a Notre Dame tackle that's polished. He's athletic. He runs the zone scheme really well. So that's somebody, I mean, if you're looking to get more picks based on not having a quarterback there, then you can trade back and look at somebody like Eichenberg there. So those are the type of tackles I think there. You never know, though. You never know in the draft. When it happens, I'll be live covering it, and I'll tell you who I would pick, and then my heart will start racing because Ryan Pace and I have yet to pick the same guy. So,
hey, Doctor, what kind of pick would make you shake your head that day? Like
I think if they took Kyle Trask,
okay,
the Florida quarterback, just to take a quarterback, I would be devastated because I think Trask is a third, fourth round quarterback that their agents are trying to push that he's got this. I don't see it. I really don't. I honestly
People is really hype about him.
Yeah, they hype him up a lot.
For our first round pick.
Oh my God. I've seen people saying he's gonna go in the first. That's like signing Mike Glennon to me. That would be, you wouldn't even want to see me. I'll be freaking. So that would be, and I just wouldn't like that pick.
I wouldn't be surprised, like.
Oh my God! I just fucking jinxed myself, didn't I?
I know we already showed this phrase, but I want to shout out my friend Jason. Hello, my friend in the United States. He is one of the administrators of NFC North War, one of our most successful groups. So, hello, Jason. Thank you for being
That's him
here.
There?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to go to StreamYard.
Exactly.
That's what we keep telling them.
We have a scroll. You got to put it on your banner and scroll it.
Yeah.
That's one trick.
We will do that.
To tell
thank
people.
Thank you very much for teaching us.
Shane's pissed at that right there. I know that. That's why. Anytime he sees a Facebook user, Loki, he's like, guys, how many times do we have to say it? Exactly. I want to see your name. I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
What's up, Jason, though?
Juanito, we are coming to an end. It was a great show with Dr. Phil here. I know. We have learned so much today from Dr. Phil, and we are going to continue learning because we are going to become patrons in thetapeneverlies.com, and we are going to continue. We are going to continue watching Keep It 100 every Wednesday, and we are going to continue until the draft happens on April 28th and 29th, I think. We are going to continue watching the draft mob on Sundays. My wife is not very happy about me watching this show. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. We do grocery shopping on Sunday mornings.
Okay.
Right. So I watch your show like while pushing my cart with the shopping. Right.
Awesome.
But sometimes it gets so interesting that I just stop there. I keep watching. And then my wife, she shops for our parents. Right, because they cannot go out right now for COVID and stuff. So when she already finishes, she goes around the supermarket and then she finds me watching the show and she says, like,
"What do you mean?
Are you planning to finish today?"
Now that I know you're shopping, I'll make sure I shout you out. Get those bananas.
Yeah, exactly.
Get those bananas.
Definitely.
And make sure you tell him, "Hey, Loki, keep walking, man. Keep walking.
Keep walking. Watch where you're going, Loki.
Keep pushing." Yeah.
You watch the show. I'm gonna write a note to myself. Watch where you're going, Loki. I'm gonna sneak that in there. I'm gonna sneak that in
Jason Miller. Now we have your name on screen.
There he is.
There you go.
Jason Miller. You passed the test. I'm gonna shout you out on my show Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, we will see you there, Dr.
We got Ryan Nall. Ryan Nall will be on. Running back Ryan Nall.
Really?
Will be on. Keeping it 100 Wednesday night. Yes.
I'm going to be there, definitely. Now that your show is a little bit earlier because you are in saving time.
Daylight savings time.
Daylight savings. Because I have my radio show on Wednesdays. So sometimes.
How about this? Let's do this. You two have a question, right? You record yourself on video and low-key, you send it to me and I'll make sure we play that question to Ryan Nall
Whoa.
on the show.
Oh,
You guys will appear on the show. Make sure you have your logo there so I can record it here. Yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
great. Thank you,
So
my
it'll be
friend. That'd
one
be
question. I'll be like, Ryan, I got a question from Mexico.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome. Thank you.
That's how I
appreciate it.
do, man.
I
You guys,
appreciate it.
Brilliant,
I
my
had a
friend.
blast with you guys.
Thank you for
I-
being here, my friend.
There's no phoniness about me. My wife could tell you. I'm like, listen, honey, I know Fridays are ours, but I gotta do this. We'll have Saturday. I want to be on with Uncle Loki. I showed my sons when you were on the show, and everything's about family. So Juan,
Yeah.
you are
Thanks.
now a part of my family too.
Thanks.
I expect
You
to
too.
see you on Wednesdays. So we
Absolutely.
can shout you out. And it was a blast here. I always take care of good people. That's my father taught me that. My mom actually taught me that real deep. And I can't thank you guys enough for coming on here, just treating me and turning it over to English. So
No,
thank
Just for you, my
appreciate it.
friend. Just
And-
for you,
and-
my friend.
Yeah.
Is
And
it
for all of
okay?
your fans.
Is it okay if we practice some phrases in Spanish, Dr. Phil?
Yes. You
Okay,
guys
let's-
send you right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
We
do
have-
one phrase.
Yeah,
One
let's do a couple of them. All right.
All right. What do you
We
got?
have the first one. Let me pick some of them. It says, "Arriba los osos,
I
cabrones."
cannot-
Cabrones.
How do you guys roll those R's, man? It's like,
Arriba.
all right, let me try.
Cabrones. Arriba los osos, cabrones.
Arriba los osos cabrones.
Yeah,
That's-
those-
Go
Yes,
Bears,
yeah.
motherfuckers. That's what it means.
Go Bears, motherfucker.
Really?
Yeah.
Arriba los osos cabrones.
And then we
Cabrones.
have another
Very
one. They
good.
have another one.
All right. let me
Last
see.
one.
Says,
You better be taping.
oh, this
these.
is from. Yeah, this is from.
Oh, this
you
is from
guys.
my swag man. This is
Yeah,
my
it's-
boy right here. I love
Oh.
this guy.
Joder los empacadores.
He actually Googled it. Definitely.
Hey,
Googled
Yeah.
that.
This is not even Mexican Spanish. This is more like it's Spaniard, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
he tried to say fuck the Packers, but
Joder los
he just went on Google Translator. It is great.
How would
Like,
you say it? Not
He
like
just
this.
he just typed fucked and he got joder. That is like kind of it's not even
Joder?
Mexican.
Joder.
Word, yeah.
How
It's
do
not
we?
a
How
Spanish-
would you guys say? I want to say it authentically. Go ahead.
Joder,
You-
joder
Um,
los
No.
empacadores.
But how can you
But in
say it,
English?
Juan? Like que chinguen a su madre los
Yeah, but
empacadores.
that's a tougher one.
Holy shit! That
Let
would
me
be-
yeah.
En Chile,
Que chinguen
a
Wait,
chinguen
Let me type
a
it.
su madre.
a tu madre.
No, su, not mine.
Su.
Theirs.
Wait, I got it here.
A chingue. Okay. A
A
chingue a su madre los empacadores.
Yeah!
Fuck the Green Bay
Holy
Packers.
Yes, that's gotta be a drop on our show.
Very good.
You guys are gonna be on live on our show. I
Thanks a lot.
guarantee
We
you.
appreciate it.
You guys
Thank
are
you,
the
my
best.
friend.
God bless you. Please follow me on Instagram and tell me you are from Mexico. You saw me on this show, and I'm going to do something special for those of you that do that on Instagram. I'm more of an Instagram, or if you saw me on this show on Facebook, I want to know Loki and Juan's people, because I want to take extra care of you guys crossing
Thanks.
over to the
Thank you, my
Keeping
friend.
It 100 show and the Tape Never Lies Network. I can't thank you guys enough. Loki, honestly, man, I love you.
Love
Juan,
you too, man.
I don't know how to say it. Te amo. Is that how you say it? Te amo.
Te
Mi
quiero.
quiero.
mucho.
Huh?
Te quiero
Te quiero. Go ahead.
mucho.
Mucho.
Yeah.
Te quiero mucho.
I love you too, man. I appreciate it, man.
We love you too, my
You're
friend.
a
Thank you
role
for being here.
model.
Ahí lo tuvieron del mismísimo Dr. Phil de The Tape Never Lies, Keeping 100, The Draft Mob. Estuvo con nosotros el día de hoy hablando un poquito acerca de los Osos de Chicago y de todos los movimientos que sucedieron en la semana, las llegadas, los jugadores que perdimos esta semana. Muchísimas gracias a Dr. Phil Ottochian. Síganlo, por favor, en thetapeneverlies.com. Síganlo, por favor, Keeping 100 en todos sus programas. Y ya saben, si mencionan que son amigos del programa Haciendo el Oso, Phil is going to do something very special for you. Phil va a hacer algo muy especial para ustedes cuando mencionen que lo vieron aquí en Haciendo el Oso. Muchas gracias, Phil Ottochian. Thank you very much. We love you guys. And we say goodbye with our phrase of every show. Bear down.